It's 4:25 now. House prices rose by 8.4% last year, according to the Nationwide Building Society. It says the change was driven by house price growth of nearly 15% in the capital in the final quarter, compared with a year earlier. But it went on to say that prices rose, in fact, across most of the country. Separate figures from the Bank of England show that nearly 71,000 mortgages were approved in November, and that is the highest figure in that regard for 6 years. Well, what does it all mean? Let's ask the property expert Henry Pryor, who is with me. Hello, happy New Year. 8.4%, that is a fairly eye-watering figure, but that is just from the Nationwide, isn't it? It
is. I mean, we do get a blizzard of housing statistics every month, and the Nationwide, whilst obviously an important number, perhaps when one looks at the Land Registry and the government's preferred official index, which is produced by the Office of National Statistics, one gets a slightly broader picture, particularly when one takes it, as you were saying earlier, away from London and the South East.
How important then are those geographical variations?
Well, they're very important. They're very, very important because the housing market is a patchwork quilt of different markets that come together. There is not one figure that we can blandly say applies to house prices across the UK. House prices in the northwest, the northeast of the country, still suffering. And it's important to remember that sold prices, which are recorded by people like the Land Registry, still tell us that deal prices are nearly 10% below where they were when the market peaked in 2007. So we've still got a long way to catch up, and that's before we factored in inflation.
And we know that there will be people out there watching this saying, why on earth actually do we care? It's not a good thing if house prices keep going up and up, because it just means that people who are trying to make their first purchase are struggling even more. I mean, aren't we beyond the days where we think a big increase in house prices is a positive thing?
Well, a coalition government are still very keen that we should feel warm and we should be celebrating rising house prices. We have 489 days to go before the general election, and the electorate have been historically incredibly forgiving of governments of all political shades' mismanagement of the economy if they are allowed to feel slightly richer in their pockets by giving a dose of house price inflation. So I think we can expect to see more of this, and that house prices are going to be higher, will end the year higher than they are today. The government's controversial initiative Help to Buy, which the Prime Minister was lauding yesterday, obviously is being blamed by some for part of the increase in house prices, but it's still too early to demonstrably say, with 750 completions, which is all we've had since Help to Buy 2 was brought forward and launched in October, that that's actually having a serious impact on house prices. What we need to see, remember, about 1 million transactions every year across the UK is what we would be used to and what we'd expect to see this year. And I think that whilst Help to Buy certainly is keeping Governor of the Bank of England, Mark Carney, awake at night, he's very much watching what's going to happen to house prices. He has said publicly just before Christmas he's not going to allow the market to run away with it, and I think that probably the Nationwide's figures are perhaps a little on the frothy side, a little optimistic, and we'll probably see house price inflation through 2014 closer to 5%.
Right, all right. Henry Pryor, thank you very much. Thanks for telling us the number of days to the next general election. We'll just hold that thought for the rest of the year.
We'll feel better.
Thanks. We'll be talking about this again, I'm quite sure. Thank you very much. Thanks for now, Henry Pryor.